check some outputs. Looks like we're good. All right, hello everybody. This is meteorologist Andrew Panera with a interesting look. So, yeah, I'm a meteorologist, so I got the weather background. But something interesting. Another thing I like to do is not just the weather. Let me lower that a little bit. I think that should be. No, I think that should be good. Another thing I like to do is gaming. So this is a gaming computer, and I built this in 2016, and 2-year upgrade cycle. So I have the biggest thing I'm upgrading is the graphics card. I'm adding a second graphics card. I have a GTX 1080 in here, and I'm going to add a second GTX 1080 to give SLI. Graphics cards right now, they are, let me get that down. Graphics cards are interesting right now just because the cryptocurrency thing that's going on right now, they're causing the graphics card market to skyrocket. So I was thankful to get these, technically two, and I'll explain why. I had to buy two 1080s on top of the one I have in here. I'm not doing three-way. They using the GPU and the graphics card for cryptocurrency mining works very well. And that looks kind of odd down there. I don't know if you're seeing that, or that's just on my screen. Okay, whatever. But the cryptocurrency mining right now is causing the graphics cards to go up, so I was thankful to find two matching ones that were actually below retail price, so that was interesting. And I do apologize right here, I wasn't able to get all the reflections off the gaming rig, so there's a little bit of green from the green screen reflecting on here. That's why it's slightly going invisible. So, that is that. We will get started here. I'll show you one other angle I'm going to be using. So this side angle, and you can kind of see the setup. I have one phone up here with the camera, and that's shooting mainly on me and the green screen. And then that wire is connecting to this device, which is a digital audio interface. So then that's connecting to the lightning connector on the iPhone. And down here, and I like this because I can actually move. And you guys can hear me too, which is awesome. So that device, that's the digital audio interface, XLR connector to this microphone. So the audio that you're actually hearing me from is not from the camera that I'm looking at, or mirror effect on the side. It's actually coming from this little shotgun microphone. So I'm going to have this side angle as well as we get through the build, or upgrade. So let's get started. So for right now, I'm just going to take the front panel off. These have thumb screws, which make it very easy. And then once I'm inside, I'll show you my little bit of a conundrum. Alright, so the windowed side panel is off. Now I'll show you in here. A little bit unorganized at the moment. So this bridge is actually not connected to anything right now, so I'll take this off. SLI needs a special bridge, especially with these what they're called Pascal cards. And this bridge connects the two GPUs. Now my conundrum was the bottom card here. Even though they both say, let me see if I get a better angle there. Even though they both say EVGA hybrid, they're not the same card. This one is what's called the Founders Edition card. That is what came out 2 years ago. I can't believe it's been 2 years since I've built this already. But this came out 2 years ago. And that was originally what's called a blower fan. It just had the just wind blowing from a fan, coming sucking in from the front, going out the back there. So that was the blower card, and I upgraded this to liquid cooling, which are those tubes that you see here, going to a radiator out in the front. So these tubes actually go to the top radiator here. So this is the one I'm going to have to remove. Now, I was going to upgrade, very simply, to another graphics card here, which was also liquid cooled, and it came this way to the bottom front radiator. However, on the side angle, let's see if I get this a little bit better like that. So these heights are actually different, and I did not expect that. So these are called fingers at the end, where my finger's pointing to the finger. There's two fingers here, and there's two more fingers. It's a little bit hard to see up at the top here. This new graphics card is taller than the one I had, so that bridge could not get a connection. So this card has to go out, and these parts I will be selling as well. So if you're interested, I'll let you know in the link below, and I'll add the link if I get that on eBay or something like that. But I'll be selling this graphics card, and I'm going to be selling this power supply. This power supply here, and thus power supply meaning it supplies power to the whole system. This doesn't have enough connectors. So that yellow connector right there, that's a single 8-pin connector. This new one has two 8-pins. The power supply only had 3, so it's maxed out right now, so I needed to upgrade that. So that is what we're going to be doing. So I will switch back here. I figured I'd keep the radar up there, and I got this nice little tripod rig here, which is really cool. So I'll move this off to the side for now, so I can switch back and forth. And the next thing we're going to be doing, the back panel here, also thumb screws. So this is going to come right off. Oh, those reflections aren't doing too well down there. On the back side here, this is where you have your cable management, which I started to unravel some things just to make it a little bit easier. There's the second side panel. So down here, actually, I'll see if I can show you from the back side. I might sound a little bit muffled because I'm on the back side of the microphone. Let me switch actually back to this. So come travel with me. So here's the back side. So essentially the cable management I was doing was everything kind of neatly tucked in here, a little bit down there, but I started to unravel some things. We're going to be pulling some things on out. Let's set that back here. I believe that should be out of view of the green screen. Especially once I have the green screen up, the green screen background, that radar loop. And switch back here. Alright, so essentially the first thing we're going to be doing is, let me see what I want to do first. I think I'll just remove the old graphics card. So let me get this right in here. Actually, I can just leave this right here. Alright, so here's a decent view. And I have the iPad over here that's controlling the whole show. So we're going to remove this graphics card. And also I'm going to remove this front panel to get access to the screws that are on the fan. And that's the little dust cover. There's some dust on there. So now I'm going to remove these. Putting them in was a little bit of a struggle, but hopefully taking them out won't be too bad. So the bottom graphics card is on the top, so I got to remove this top radiator and fan. And I'll be doing this carefully since this is going to be what I am selling. Now the Founders Edition card had its own actually really cool looking cooler for the GPU. I still have that. I actually blacked it out, so it's a unique blackout Founders Edition 1080. And I'll be selling that cooler, that blower style cooler, with this liquid cooler. Hopefully this won't. Okay, it wasn't too bad. Alright, so those are the 4 screws out. I guess it would be helpful if I also remove the power connector from here. Oop, there goes the fan. So that's that main graphics card power connector. And next there will be the fan, which is in here. That fan is loose. Good. I just gotta get these cables out. Or this single cable. Alright, so that's loose, that's ready to go. Next, these graphics cards are attached to what's called the PCIe, the PCI Express connector. And these brackets right over here hold this because these cards are actually heavier than you think. So this bracket holds this in place. So I am going to remove that. These are just thumb screws, but I tend to use the screwdriver on them just to make sure it comes out a little bit easier. It's also a little tight so I can't get my fingers in there as easily. So I got that removed. And now there's a little in here tab I have to slide. Oh, I didn't get it yet. Where are you? I think that was it. There we go. Now a little tricky maneuvering. I'll actually disconnect these power connectors as well. And that is out. So that's what the graphics card looks like. And this, it looks like a car radiator, which essentially this is a car radiator. So that I'll carefully put on the side. And next, I don't have that much time left. Looks like I got some low batteries there because it is the end of the day. So we'll push this along. Disconnect a couple of these. This power supply is what's called semi-modular. Some of these power cords just disconnect. Some of them don't. So I will be carefully putting these on the side as well because that will all be getting sold along with the graphics card and this power supply. And up here, I'm going to see if I have a charging cord. Just to make sure I don't lose you guys. So this way I'll have at least one camera. Alright, so power supply and this and a rainbow color connector. Let me see if I can put the light on. There we go. This rainbow color connector is the main motherboard's power supply. So this, I gotta disconnect. It's in there. Also, I gotta disconnect this hard drive. So let's see if I get this out of the way. This is a 3 terabyte hard drive that has all my game saves on it. That will not be getting sold. But there's a power supply connector in there that I need to get out. And you get that from the back side. Alright, I think I'm back. Don't know what happened there. So now, from this back side, sorry if it's a little bit hard to hear, but right over here, these are all that bundle. I gotta get a connector out from here. And these are the SATA power connectors. Kind of just daisy chain together. Which in this case is perfectly fine to daisy chain these connectors because there's not a lot of power going in and out. The most annoying connector is actually going to be this cable here, because I have to remove the CPU cooler in the back. I've got all of these coming out. Sorry I can't see it from this angle. So these are just wires that I'm pulling out. These are all the modular wires. first one was the single original graphics card connector, which is not modular. Next, I should probably take this. Oh, wait, let me switch back here. So this is the CPU cooler. Unfortunately, that has to come out just to get to the CPU power connector. It's one I wish I didn't have to take out. But this is called Micro ATX, the size of the motherboard. Which the motherboard, I can't really see it too well. It's all the way in the back. That's where everything connects to. And I wanted to keep this case fairly small. It's not really that heavy, maybe like 15 pounds. The last case I was using was more like 40, 45 pounds. So I'm glad I went down a little bit. A bit more convenient. But that's also what makes the cable management and all the routing in here a little bit tricky. This is about to just come popping out. There we go. I'll put this up here for now. The fan, I think, can stay in place. And here, at the very top, that yellow connector, right in there, that's what powers the CPU itself. So that, let me turn it a little bit there. So that is part of the non-modular piece. And this has to come right out. There's one of them. There's the second. And this will just get routed right out the back. And now I can see a little bit better. This motherboard connector. I want to actually break the motherboard. There we go. That's going to go through here. So now when I switch back, let's see if I can show you guys real quick. This wide connector powers the entire motherboard. And this cable is the CPU power, which was doubled up, so there was essentially two. So those are out. And now, let me see. The main camera there is running low on battery, but we should be good for now. I have this one charging, so if that one needs a little bit more charge, I'll unplug this one, plug that one in. It was a little bit of a long day, but still got it for you. And now I'm going to switch back to the main view. So getting the rest out in here, we have the CPU disconnected. I should be able to just pull the rest of these carefully through. What else am I getting? Oh, I'm missing. pull that one. Gotta yank the right cord there. This is what's going to be much easier with the modular power supply. So all these can just get disconnected instead of having to unroute, reroute. Almost through. Always a little snag. There we go. So that's that one. And the last one is the thickest one. And once this is through, I'll show you on a little close-up. Alright, so this is the main motherboard connector. Not sure if it'll focus. There we go. MB motherboard. Very wide connector. Thick bundle there. So that looks like it for the power supply. Next, assuming you get there, there's a couple of screws. I don't really have that much longer cable, but there are some screws on the back here that are going to free up the power supply. At least you can see a little bit in the angle. Hello. Even though it's late, this is still fun. I don't know if anybody's watching right now. If you are, I'd love to hear you in the comments, but I don't think I've seen any comments. Nope, no comments. Anybody like? Nope. Oh, I've had some viewers. Well, if you are watching, love to hear from you. Alright, so here I got the 4 screws out from the power supply. And now it should slide right out. Alright, that is out. Pretty big gap in here now. So my modular power, or semi-modular power supply is out. The wattage is all the same. So here, a little bit too close. This is what's going in, 750 gold plus, 80 plus gold. That is, for some reason, the rating that it needed for 4 of these power connectors. So there's 2 on that graphics card and there's 2 on the other one. So this is going to go in next. And down here you can see my studio wiring. I try and keep it all organized. That didn't work out well just because we can't plug the power in to the other one. So we'll try and get this fairly quickly done. And if I see it's almost dead, I'll just end the stream. So I've got a little knife here. fun installing new parts. I'll at least see if I can get the new parts unboxed for you guys before the stream ends, because that camera, hello, that camera has 11% battery left. All right. Ooh, I love the smell. Oh, it's because it comes out real easy. Ah, here's all your cables. So this is what makes it very modular. These cables are all bundled together, and this is what I showed you from the last one, motherboard. Also, notice this is blacked, all black out. This is going to make it much easier. It also has a couple other things bundled in here. This is actually a pretty old connector. This is for a floppy drive, 3.5-inch floppy drive. Interesting that that's in here. All right, yeah, here's some more. Wow, lots of cables. The main power plug there. This has more screws. And this is a little dummy connector. So that goes on that motherboard power supply because this shorts out. It's a jumper cable. So this jumper allows the power supply to turn on without being connected for testing purposes. A little instruction manual. Since these are pretty much the same, except it's the same wattage and everything from the old one, it's just modular. I don't necessarily need to read the instruction manual, but it's always good to just glance through that. And now this is your power supply. 750 watts, 750 G plus. Supernova is the name of the brand, is the model, EVGA. These can get warm, so that's why there's a fan. There's a little piece of plastic. We'll take that off. Now, this is what's nice with the modular piece. And what I needed, VGA, Video Graphics Adapter, 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. So this we'll put in here. Weird angle there, sorry. All right, and what's our main camera battery at? 8%. That's the one that's also hooked up to the audio. So actually I might be able to switch the audio sources. We'll see how that goes. All right, so we got all those connectors in here. First, we'll line these up. And now I'll screw this in place. You never want to tighten a lot until you get all the screws in. Make sure everything is lined up. going to a single camera soon. Now we have a little snug tightening on here. You don't want to make it too tight so you strip anything. Alright, so this is in place. New power supply, make sure it switches off. And now we'll start routing the cables. I'll start with the motherboard one. So that motherboard bundle. This was that weird connector. So this is called Molex. And I don't know what these are called, but that essentially was those 3.5 floppy disk powers. So there's two connectors here that go into the power supply, PSU, and one just motherboard connector there. So I'll wrap this through the back. While that still has some juice, let me switch. Gotta wake up my background. Sorry about that. Alright, so back onto the green screen view. That's the part that goes into the motherboard. So that I'll route through here. This is the part that goes to the power supply, so that'll get routed down here. Alright. This I'll button up a little bit. Just want to make sure everything's connected. So now in here, I just got to get this power supply connector in. Never actually done this before, so we shall see how this goes. So it looks like there's a bigger one and a smaller one. These always are a struggle when you start bending them. There we go, that one's in. It's not in all the way. I think it just snapped in. Okay, and the next one goes over here. There we go. So those are in, and then up here, that right here is the motherboard power supply connector. These thick cables are always a little bit hard to bend. Not in yet. Oh, I think I just felt it click. Thankfully. Yeah, that looks like it's in. Yep. So that is the power supply, or the main motherboard power supply connector. So that looks like it's in there. Next, I want to find the processor. Here we go. CPU. 2 4-pin, 2 4-pin. Oh, it actually came with two 4-pins. There's 8 pins. This motherboard doesn't actually need, which is good. They give you plenty of room. So that is the one that goes into the CPU. Oh, that's the one that goes on the power supply. There's the one that goes in the CPU. So down here I gotta find CPU. There we go, CPU 1, I see. That is in. Now time to wrap this through. And this needs to be fairly long just because the CPU connector coming out the top. I'll move the camera in a second. So out up here, we're back up there. Just gotta connect these. And the trick is to get these lined up exactly the same way. There's one. There's two. So those look like they're in. Give it a little tug. And that's what's feeding the CPU. I'm just going to feed this back a little bit. And now let me switch. All right. And how's this camera? Oops. That one could have been bad. Good. Kick the computer. There we go. So now this is the tricky part. Routing this probably around this way and straight down. So that's where some zip ties come in. there and there. I'm not going to deal with the bundling right now. All right, we are at 3%. Let's see how far that can go. Oh wow, 1040. All right, so we got CPU in. Next, I'll get the hard drives. So we gotta find SATA. Let me switch back here. SATA. Serial ATA, essentially is what it stands for. And this I'm actually going to route through the back first without kicking the computer. And now this has got to route through here. Again, these are daisy chained. Just because these hard drives don't take up a lot of power, so daisy chain is perfectly fine. You don't want to daisy chain higher power stuff. For instance, Christmas lights. Looks like something just floated in front of the camera. Maybe a ghost. It is laid. Alright, so that looks like it's routed through there. That is that too. So I'm going to take a pause right now and see if I could switch these. The audio. Bear with me for 1 second or a minute. Hello, I think I'm back. Okay. Now I switched back, so I might be able to keep both cameras in. Let me get this charge going. Hello. Hello, hello. Oh yes, I see audio levels. We're good. And Anthony, if you are still watching, yes, I am. Alright, so, back in here, these SATA connectors are kind of tucked into here, and this was temporarily holding the hard drive in place. Actually, it's easier to get the hard drive in now that the CPU cooler is out. Alright, so that's in here. We'll connect one of these SATA power connectors. Alright, that is in. We'll get the rest of these around and in as well. Kind of get that tucked in here. And then the SATA data connector. All right. Making progress. And then down here, well, I'm glad. And I was able to fix something, so I'm able to still go live with you. So, thank you, Anthony, for joining me. I'd say roughly halfway through, maybe a little more than halfway. The routing of the cables is just the trickiest part at the moment. And if you were just joining not too long ago, sorry I didn't see the comment. Let me see. Let me switch back to the main view. Hey there, hey Anthony, and welcome anybody watching. This is called an SLI bridge. So this has some connectors, 2 fingers here, 2 fingers here, and these are what connect the 2 graphics cards together. So that we'll get to a little bit later. All right. So now, gotta connect this SATA to one of these SATAs here. I'll just go with this top one, I guess. No, we'll go with this one. All right. SATA power connector in. Next is a little bit of an older style connector. It's called a Molex connector. Find where those are. There's Molex. Let me show you in 1 second. Just gotta un-Velcro it. So this is called Molex. More of a round connector. So now I'm gonna I'm glad you'll be watching me on replay. We now switch back to the green screen view. So yeah, in the beginning it was basically just disassembly, kind of explaining some things. At this point, it's I'd say the trickiest part, which is routing these cables. So now I'm going to route it from the back. I also had, Anthony, a weird glitch. So you're going to see maybe a little stutter in the stream. So back here, I don't know, you can't really see too well. There's a bunch of cables I was connecting with the Molex piece. Those are tucked away now. So now I gotta connect this Molex, and it's called periph, so it's peripheral. So peripheral, gotta find on one of these. VGA, here it goes, a periph down below here. think I need a little more light, and I do have another studio light. Let me get that. Alright, studio light. Let there be light. Now I can see a little better and make sure everything's actually plugged in. Everything looks good. Alright. I think that's it for the main connectors. We got a hard drive, we got the CPU, got the motherboard, and there's an accessory I have down here. Right there. That adds some more USB ports. That needed its own power. So that's there. Next, I'm going to need 4 of these. 2 on this card, 2 more on the card, the graphics card that's going to go down there. So let me find those, and that's VGA. Yeah, they have some technical difficulties here and there. Alright. There's the VGA bundle. All VGA, VGA, EVGA, VGA. Yeah, I think I need all of these. That's to be a bit of a cable management nightmare. Well, we'll do it one at a time, just to make sure everything stays neat, kind of. So, actually, I may not be routing those. Oh, and these are keyed a special way, so you can't actually put them in the wrong way. Got that one in down there. That will go down here. Now I need that studio light again. And we gotta find VGA1. Now, I kind of cable manage this a little bit. The second graphics card should cover up a lot of this, because most of cable management is cosmetic. There is some slight advantages. Or there are some slight advantages. Now I need the second one. This goes again into here. Actually, I should put the other graphics card in before I do any of that. But I will at least make sure I get the 4 plugged in, because it's probably going to be a little bit difficult to get those plugged in down here once the second graphics card is going to be in right about here. My favorite games to play, I would probably say on this system it's Doom 2016. With VR, because I also do virtual reality with this. It's a game called Robo Recall, and virtual reality with that game is incredible. I think I'm putting these in the wrong order, because they're getting a little bit more difficult to get to. I'm just letting these hang out for right now. Next one in here. Alright, got 3. And the last one. So I'm going to move one of these down. Also, Anthony, with these builds, it's not as simple as you thought. I was like, oh yeah, let me just add a second graphics card. No. That doesn't always work out that way. I wanted to add the second graphics card in here, but when I did, these heights were different between the two graphics cards. So my old one that I took out in the beginning of the stream, I'm going to be selling, and the second one is going to be going in here that I didn't unbox just yet. So, 4 cables, 2 power connectors here, 2 power connectors will be down there. Now it's time to get the next graphics card out. Be a little bit careful with this setup here. So those are some extra bundles. This is the box for the second graphics card. You're gonna see me waving around. I got my show running from this iPad. Let me get this out of the way for right now. That looks fine. All right. So now, the one that's not shiny, this is opened already. That's the one that's in the system. This one is going to be opened next. Need more cutting or winning. Oops. Oh, I ripped the box. Ah, ripped the box. More cutting. Oh no, it's not annoying at all. You keep on chatting. I love the conversation. The only thing is, my batteries on my devices are dying because it's been a long day. So I may be ending it. I've still got some time left, so we will see how long that lasts. Probably not too much longer. So let me at least get these unboxed for you. In here, and some instruction manuals. There's also drivers set up, but I don't need to install the drivers again because I already installed it from this first graphics card. And in here is the graphics card and the radiator. So it's all in plastic right now. But that's what it looks like in the plastic. Tubes connect to the radiator. A lot of people think you can immediately kill stuff instantly with the electrostatic. It's not as easy as you think. It can happen, so I am grounding myself on the metal here. I would normally wear a foot strap, but going around the front and the back on this table, it's not a long strap for grounding. Oh, and this sticker is tough. There we go. And it's free. There's the back, covered in plastic. And there's the front. So we get these plastic wraps off and some rubber connector protectors. Those all come off. And as I mentioned, there's your two power connectors. That's what I needed. That's what I needed the power supply for. If I didn't need the extra power connectors and I didn't need to upgrade the power supply, this would have been a much simpler process. And what I was pulling out, there's plugs that protect the display ports, the display connectors. Now pulling out the rest of the plastic. Hopefully not piece by piece. There we go. Ooh, this is a sticky one. So I'm basically pulling this off. Some of it stayed back. Doesn't want to let go. Alright. Let me show you the graphics card here in all of its glory. It's quite big. And now this is going to slot in here. Running out of juice. So essentially in this gap down here, that's where the second graphics card is going to go. Make sure you don't step on anything. A little bit tricky with the radiator tubes that are already in here from the first graphics card. Sliding in nicely. Just reading your question, Anthony. So just the price of the whole thing. That really depends, and you could set price ranges. So this is a little bit inflated right now just because these graphics cards, they are running higher than you would normally guess for a graphics card because of the cryptocurrency mining situation. If you don't know what cryptocurrency mining is, you can look it up very easily on other channels on YouTube. I got a cord in the way here. But basically it's something called Bitcoin is the most popular one. And you use graphics cards to produce money. Digital money. Alright, that looks like it's in. And with the cryptocurrency mining, GPUs are very good at doing calculations very fast versus a CPU, which is good at doing a lot of things at once. All right, so just gotta get this slotted in. Sounds like it's in. It's good. Don't want to push the whole thing away. Ooh, I think it's still caught this cable. Alright, that sounded like it slotted in better. And now I'll get one of these screws in. So a little bit of a challenging part here. I'll need the screwdriver. Even though these are thumb screws, it doesn't always work out with your thumbs. Just gotta get it, there we go, threaded. All right, whew, that was a challenge. All right, not looking too bad there. So, very low. $650 for each of these graphics cards. And I was able to get that below retail. These retailed for about $750 each. The CPU, which is here, probably about $350. Motherboard, $120. Power supply, $100. Case was about $100. So all in all, what do we got? $1,200, $1,300. This is probably about an $1,800 rig right here. Well, that's moderate for 4K gaming. 4K gaming, it was the ultimate goal with this. Alright, I think I got that in. There's one little pin back here I need to get to. I don't think I have a tool to actually get that. Let's see if I can get my finger in here. No, I can't. I don't have the tool I need. But essentially for right now, I'll show you with the SLI bridge. Da-da-da. This will go on these connectors here. So this will hold it in place for now. Those are in. We are SLI'd. That's the bridge that allows these two graphics cards to communicate with each other directly before sending data to the CPU. So I got those in. So speaking of the CPU, it's probably time to get this back in. And it's all starting to come together. I'm not going to be able to turn it on. It's getting late. I just wanted to get it installed. tricky part. So always is the tricky part. As long as you get one of these screws threaded, the rest should follow not too bad. Oops. Helps if I actually orient this the correct way. This was installed like that. There we go. Now it lines up a bit better. And this white strip, oops, sorry, I can't really see too well. That white strip is actually lights. I get to get multicolors on here. Oh, come on, you're quite misbehaving. No, it's all coming apart. This, I hate the fan. I absolutely hate fans. After all of these builds, I hate fans with a passion. They are completely necessary. You'd overheat without a fan. But they are a pain in the ass. Oh, why can't I get this through? Come on. It's like millimeters. There we go. So that is through. This can line up. That's why I was very reluctant to actually take the CPU cooler off, because it's a pain in the ass to put back on. Alright, that's starting to get there. Next we'll do it here. And I think I'm still good with power. If I get this screw in, I'm just going to check some power things, power levels, and then I may have to end the stream. Alright, I got those in. I need to get one more in before I let go. Well, everything's running out of battery. So yeah, this will be the last thing before I end the stream. Just get that one more screw in. It's going. Now let me button these up a little more. Alright. Whew. CPU cooler back in. Alright. Yes, Anthony, you were pretty far off. So, $1,800. Some are even up to $2,000. Alright, so I am at 2% battery, 7% battery, 10% battery. So I'll be ending the stream now. Just a quick weather thing. Low pressure still in place there. This is what's going to be giving us some showers throughout the Northeast. And that's going to be for tomorrow, kind of a scattered, showery day. Some areas in the Capital District, right around the Mid-Hudson Valley, maybe even, that can be seen, maybe a little wintry mix possible. But in the Northeast, I know, later in the week, we're going to be in the 80s, which is going to be very nice compared to the little wintry mix chance we'll have tomorrow morning. So that was pretty much that. I'll be ending the stream now. I think it was about an hour and a half I was going between the two of them together. So almost done here. I got the graphics cards in, got the CPU cooler, got all the things wired up. I just gotta put the new radiator in. That was the last install piece, and that was pretty much it. So before everything dies on me, I want to say Anthony, thank you for joining me live. Anybody else that's watching, I don't think anybody else is. Anthony, you're the only viewer right now. But thank you for joining me. Definitely watch the rest of the stream from beginning to end to see where I got with this. And I'll actually just have one very wide shot here. There we go. SLI, it's called. So essentially it's linking up two graphics cards together. There's your SLI. Alright, so this is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Thank you all for joining me. Check back throughout the week for more weather updates. I'm also going to see if I can get another video of the performance gains with the SLI configuration. So, enjoy that. I'll also try and get my How to Drive Manual series back up and running. And that's pretty much it. Have a great night, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next video.